just want to go over the difference between select by weight and filter example. This is just a Rapidminer data science tip. I know when I first started using Rapidminer, filter by example, filter by example and selecting by weight was really confusing. So when you're first using Rapidminer, this is just a workflow environment. There's these operators like read, CSV is an operator, store is an operator. These are also operators. And it's just a workflow environment where you search for an operator, like I'll search for filter example. Filter example, click, drag it in. And then you just have to connect it to another operator, just the inputs and the outputs. This line is an input, this is an output. You have to connect the outputs to where it says result, short. Res is short for result. But I do want to explain the difference between filter example and select by weight. And in this example, this is something I helped a student with. And the example of this was that there's essentially there's a company where the HR people want to group everyone together by interest, like they're going to have a team building exercise. So they did a survey and they gathered all the employees' interests. Then they're going to have a team building exercise, team building day, where they group everyone together according to their interests. And then this is the data. And so now in Rapidminer, you have to analyze this and group everything together. Now, the best way to do it is just filter example. Now, all these operators are filter example. You can rename them, like I can double click this. You double click, oops, that deleted it. It still says filter example over here. I'm going to click, drag it in, double click, backspace, sports 2. Yeah, so you can rename these. So all these have been renamed: sports, collecting, crafts, gaming. So you can rename it. So the idea, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go into sports. Actually, let me explain this first. So I read the data in the essentially an Excel file, read it in, stored it. Then there's sports, which is our filter example. And I'm going to click add filters. And this is a filter I already set up. And on this one, it's the sports filter. So everyone that has an interest of 6 and above is going to be in this group. Okay? So that's the filter example. Now, select by weight. Select by weights is just a very advanced feature. If you're new to Rapidminer, just don't use it. I'm just going to make this very simple. Just don't use it. If you're looking to group things together based on their value, use filter example. Do not use select by weight. Just don't use it. Yeah, I mean, I know when I first started using Rapidminer, and I really struggled to get select by weights to work. It never worked. It's just an advanced feature. I know there's this more advanced concept within the data that, some data is simply more important than others, and therefore it's weighted within some of these data science and statistics equations, where some data or groups of data are essentially weighted or weigh the equation. But it's a very advanced feature. If you're just looking to group some data together, use filter example. Okay, and I'm also going to go over just filter example just a little bit while I'm at it, just because I know when I first started using Rapidminer, it wasn't in fact confusing. You have inputs and outputs, but the fact that you have 3 outputs was confusing. If you hover above it, it does give you some information. The example, top bubble's the example. This one's original, and this is the unmatched. But what does this actually mean, right? So the example, it is actually the matched data. So for sports, that example, the matched example means matched, okay? It's every employee with an interest of sports greater than 6, okay? The ORI is the original data, same as the input. The input is the same as the output. The unmatched data is when you take everyone with an interest of 6 and above and cut them out. It's the leftovers. If you imagine a pie, for example, if you cut a pie in several pieces, or if you just cut one piece into a pie, that would be the matched example, and the unmatched is essentially the leftovers. Okay, once you took that pie out of the once you took the slice out of the pie, that's the leftovers. That's the unmatched. Okay, and also using filter example, like sports, for example, you could have somebody with a high interest of sports and a high interest of fitness. So that is why unmatched. Once you've taken that slice, then you want the rest of the pie. You always want it to grab when you're doing more. You're cutting more slices of the pie, like fitness or some of these other interests. You always want to grab the unmatched, grab that leftovers, and you want to take the leftovers and slice that and get a new piece. Like there'd be a slice of the pie would be collecting, another slice would be crafts, another slice would be fitness, and so on, right? So, but definitely using that unmatched feature. I mean, if you didn't use that, you could have the same person has a high interest in sports and the high interest of fitness, and there would be duplicates, right? So, yeah, so just in the interest of keeping this video short, or not having it not go on any further, that was just my tip, just explaining the difference. Just don't use select by weights if you're first starting. Anyways, have a great day. Thanks.